Whoa, Danhausen.
Millie Music says, that curse on Dom, it worked immediately. And then we got FMJ saying, now that is how you introduce Danhausen to the mainstream audience. I can't wait to see people kissing up to him to prevent curses or enact curses on others. Yes, this was a perfect introduction of Danhausen. Listen, I get it. Danhausen isn't going to be for everyone, but, you know, comedy has always had its place in WWE. Oftentimes worse for wear, but sometimes when it lands, it lands. And I think Danhausen has a lot of potential. At the Elimination Chamber, that was not the right time to introduce Danhausen. Literally, if they had just moved the crate reveal to the second segment on Raw tonight, and then had the other segment, it would have been perfect. It legit would have been perfect. If it had just been something just a little less hyped on a less prominent show, then it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. But whatever the case may be, I loved Danhausen showing up last night and kind of making light of it, literally saying,
as you saw, Danhausen debuted to a thunderous applause. And cheers.
So now you must meet my demands, and his demands being a blimp, his own personal cameraman, a pointy finger with Triple H, and then he sees Dominik Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio, he puts a curse on him.
You are cursed.
And then Dom loses. I hope that it has 100% track record in WWE, kind of like when Paul Heyman says,
"That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler."
That's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. The curse happens and you know something's gonna happen. It's not a real curse, but it gets in the person's head. It's like, oh God, what's gonna happen? Well, kind of like, I know people who, if you're sweeping with a broom and the broom touches their feet, like, they will literally have to spit on the broom to counteract the superstition they have. So Danhausen could play that kind of role, and I think it would be funny and great. I don't want him winning championships or anything like that, but if they play their cards right, they could have a Santino, a Kit Wilson, an R-Truth with just silliness. He might even be in the realm more of the boogeyman, but I hated the boogeyman. I see lots of potential with Danhausen, and hopefully he hears this because I don't want him to curse me. Teddy Boy Ward says, when LA Knight drove off in the ambulance, did he take Paul to the hospital or the veterinarian? Maybe SeaWorld. That's funny. I mean, yeah, it's a crime and stuff, but let's just forget about that. It was funny. It was reminiscent of Stone Cold Steve Austin, something Stone Cold would do. However, I don't think they went far enough. I thought this myself, but I did watch Wrestle Talk this morning, and they actually expounded upon it, so I'm just going to give them credit. They should have did more skits with this. Like, throughout the entire show, we should have seen LA Knight driving Paul Heyman around, being like, oh, I can't find the hospital. Or he goes to a drive-through of a fast food restaurant, and they start asking him things like, do you want this? And he's like, yeah. Do you want that? Yeah. And that's one of the things with Triple H. He has a lot of good ideas, but he just doesn't seal the deal with them. If we could have got 3 more tiny segments, it would have been brilliant. It would have been funny. Remember when Vince McMahon was in the hospital and Stone Cold Steve Austin was the doctor and hit him with the bedpan? That's after Mankind came in with Merkel or something, a clown, and Mr. Sacco. We literally got Mr. Sacco from a pre-taped segment, and we should have got some of those tonight with LA Knight. Great stuff, but could have been legendary. And speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin, you see this belt on my shoulder? This is his Smoking Skull belt, and it could be your Smoking Skull belt. All you gotta do is comment below. I'm gonna give it away at 20,000 subscribers on my quest to quit my day job. Not a toy. It's a replica. You can win it. And if you want to support the channel, please go to my Patreon as well. I try to do Patreon videos, but I don't have time. But if I do get fired, I definitely will have time to do Patreon videos. when not looking for a job or door dashing. Anyways, more hot takes. Go Buggy says, I think Jay came back too soon. Yeah, not only did he come back too soon, he comes out on crutches and then doesn't even sell the fact that he's supposed to be on crutches. Friday, he was so banged up that he couldn't perform in the Elimination Chamber, which was a spot at the WrestleMania main event, and you're telling me he's just fine right now? Like, he could have literally came back next week. Tiz Mickey says, LOL Chop, I see what you mean. I was so uncomfortable during the Rhea and Io segment. LOL. They are a phenomenal tag team, right? And they are best friends. But boy howdy, get a room. I'm not passing judgment or anything, but holy cow, find somebody that looks at you like those two look at each other. Bishop Marley, finally! We got top guys doing top guy stuff. That Roman Punk promo was excellent, and I hope they keep that momentum going for the entire build. Well, we got 7 more weeks. We could probably have Roman skip 3 of those weeks, but that means we got 4 more. I hope it's not just every week we get a promo. Unless it's promos like yesterday and the first promo, like then I would totally be okay with it. But how long can you keep that up? How many times can you reference a podcast before we're like, okay guys, we get it? Go Buggy says, I'm sorry, but the Vision is dead as a group because every week they get worse and worse. And I think Logan Paul needs to leave the Vision because it's not helping nobody get over. Yeah, I think it was just they just needed Seth Rollins to get his revenge. But you're right, the Vision needs to be over unless Braun Breaker is ready to go. Like, unless he's ready to go, I can kind of see them trying to hold out. TTJC says, that last promo got me hot, because how dare Punk talk about Roman's dead dad, and Roman just stood there and didn't beat him up. Yeah, you do think that Roman would have, like, that would have made Roman snap to some kind of next level. I agree there, and I did not like the comment. I feel that making fun of Roman's dad was out of place, because Roman's dad has never really been part of his character. Now, Roman is all about family, but for Punk to just be like, yeah, well, your dad's dead. Like, Christian Cage can do that in AEW, but it's like, it didn't fit here. He's not Cody Rhodes, where he only talks about his dad, and his identity is being the son of his dad. Watch my yesterday video. I explained it better there. It was a shocking moment, and it did make it personal, but I do think it was forced. But regardless, it did get people talking. WTF Patch says, Roman is so going to bring up Larry, AEW, AJ Lee, and whatnot. I doubt he brings up AJ Lee. I think Roman will still respect the family unit, but I don't know, people do have different opinions on whether or not your animal is a family member or not. So I could see Roman saying something. About that. And don't leave me comments saying, well, you don't think Larry is CM Punk's family? I'm telling you what I think Roman will do, not what I personally think. Kid Wilkes says, I thought Danhausen's curses were jokes, but I fear for anyone who has to feel the wrath of them now. Poor Dom versus Finn for the IC title is over. Yes, this is a cautionary tale. Do not make Danhausen mad. G's GPT says, finally a good Raw after weeks of mediocrity BS. I hope WWE understands these good storylines move ticket sales more than anything. You are absolutely right. Storytelling, actual stories that people want to watch, that will put butts in the seats. The Absolute Advisor says Danhausen is already over and is an incredible act. He will be an internet wrestling community darling. You are right. Now that we got the bad reveal out of the way, we are off to the races. Otto says, finally, we get some good comic moments backstage to add to storylines. WWE needs more moments like this, referring to Jim, Big Jim, and LA Knight. Yes, I loved it. I love that we had this crazy segment to take out Paul Heyman, right? But it just kept going and going, and the good guys were waiting in wait. I like it when the good guys have an uphill battle, but I also like smart good guys, and tonight, Like, it worked. It worked, and things just kept going. You didn't know what was going to happen next. Everything was brilliant. And actually, even the beginning of the next match, Gunther and Dragon Lee had a very chaotic start, that's what we need. Chaos. Drexel Dragon says this promo was weaker than their last one. A lot of nonsensical jabs. I mean, there's always gonna be something weaker. It doesn't always just get better. That first promo was an all-timer. I think this was a good follow-up. Right up until the nonsensical "your dad is dead" jab. Although Rick likes it right here. Rick M9T says the best part of Raw was the last line of Punk. Bro went deep. So, different strokes for different folks. It wasn't for me, and it's not because I'm all sensitive and I can't handle you making fun of dead relatives. No, it's not that. I just don't think it warranted it because it was out of character for both people. Eric says 9 out of 10 chops. I gave it a B. My favorite Raw in recent memory. Did Punk make a Y2J reference? Yes, he said. Punk said, "You just made the list," and I'm sure Punk did it on purpose, but I don't know if Y2J is coming or not. I will say this though: before Punk was returned to WWE. Leading up to his return, there were a lot of CM Punk, hidden references leading up to it. And then suddenly they just stopped. And then a month later, Punk was here. So, who knows? Al Johnson says that Liv Morgan promo was fire by talking about her struggles and accolades. I loved it. And I also loved when she was like, hey, you know what? Just because I was picked on my first trial and you weren't good enough to be, well, that's not my fault. Not my fault. I had the best. I got picked on my first try. It's just, I love Liv Morgan. If I really thought about it, I wonder if I like her more than Becky Lynch. I mean, I love Becky Lynch's over-the-topness, but Liv Morgan is a very consistent, she's very consistent. I mean, I'm not saying she's the best in the world like Becky, but because Becky is the best in the world, and that's not just me saying it. Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, they all say it, but Liv Morgan, she's like a low-key goat. ST Gamer says, I don't know why Obafemi is wasting his time with Rusev. Just go after Brock Lesnar already. Well, we got 7 weeks. I mean, what do we have Oba do? Just, hey, Oba, we'll see you in 7 weeks. He has to do something. And I believe Rusev would be a good opportunity. Don't forget, Oba's been facing mainly NXT guys. So now he has to face main roster guys. And he's about to go to the Showcase of the Immortals. I think it's not bad to put in some programs getting used to that main roster environment. Major Mario, meh. So no Finn versus Dom at Mania for the IC title? Yeah, that sucks. But who knows? Maybe they... I kind of don't want this, but it could be for the AAA title. Rick Jelly says Punk was good tonight, not as good as Roman a few weeks ago. I think Punk has been doing a good job too. This is really a battle of wits among giants, with the exception of your dad's dead. DS Wisemark says Chop likes Oba, but sadly, he's turning into what Chop hates the most, Bill Goldberg. Man, no way. DS Wise Marks, I love you. You're a respectable member of the community, but you are absolutely wrong here. Obafemi's only been on the roster for a month and a half. Technically, his debut was Royal Rumble, January 31st. It's March 3rd right now. So, a month. He's been on the roster for a month. That's way too soon to be yeah, he's exactly like Bill Goldberg. And I'll say this also. We also know that he can wrestle. He has more than 3 moves because we've seen him in NXT actually performing. So, we're just in an introductory stage of him just dominating. You could argue when Brock Lesnar came onto the main scene that he was just a younger version of Goldberg, but then once that initial shock and awe of the first month or two debut, Brock Lesnar was able to do a lot more back in the day. And so that's just what's happening with Obafemi right now. Plus, Oba can actually speak on the microphone. He has personality. Goldberg had none of that. And to this day has none of that. And let's not take away from the fact that Goldberg is a complete moron and a stupid human being, and Oba is definitely not. So there's another difference for you. Adam the Alien says, Chop, who do you think will turn? Io or Rhea? I'm thinking it'll be Io, because Rhea is just too much of a crossover star. WWE or Triple H doesn't seem to know what to do with Io Sky unless it's making googly eyes at Rhea. Pervious Young says, "Bro, this show sucked. This does not feel like a road to WrestleMania." I thought it was pretty good, and so did a lot of people. You're welcome to your opinion. Carmichael says, "I'm sorry, but I absolutely love the El Grande Americano stuff. Absolutely hilarious. I think the American segments have jumped the shark, but in AAA, it's doing great stuff." Soul Collector says, "Do you really want to see a part-time world champion? What schedule is below part-time, but not unemployed? Because that's literally what Roman is." I'll say this, for years, I spoke out against part-timers, but then finally I gave up. I gave up yelling at the cloud and just said, I guess that's how WWE is nowadays. Heck, when Cody Rhodes won the title from John Cena last year, he took 6 weeks off so he could go film a movie. That's just how things are nowadays. I gave up. And I'll say this, and I would rather have a part-time champion who makes the belt and the show and the stories feel important than a champion who shows up every week and it's like all he does is cut a 10-minute promo in the beginning of the show and then he's out. Because you might as well be part-time at that point. 302 Rep TV says, "Why does Oba need to demolish Rusev at WrestleMania first? We already know he's a monster before WrestleMania. Why can't he just go and face and destroy Brock in a shock win at Mania?" That's a decent argument. Like, maybe if we didn't see how good he is, then we could be questioning, can he do it? But if he does just dominate everybody on the way to WrestleMania, so there's an argument. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see what you're saying. I think it's good for Oba to have these matchups. I don't think we should destroy Rusev either. Rusev we should still make credible, but I do like what you said. Why not just have it? Why not add some mystery to see if can Oba do it? He's untested. We don't know if he's capable of beating Brock because we've only seen him against people like Kit Wilson. So you have a good argument. I still would rather him be fighting people on the way to Mania, but I see your point. Wrestling Cash says, "We now have 3 open challenges going on. Carmelo, AJ Lee, and Brock Lesnar. Lazy Levesque." That is valid. Plus how many mystery attacker angles are going on? We don't know who attacked Jey Uso. We don't know who attacked Jacob Fatu. The whole Jade Cargill, her character turn was based on her being attacked by a mystery person. The masked man mystery of attacking the Vision, that was just solved. So it's how many masked men have there been? 3 open challenges going on right this second. You are absolutely right. It's insane. In fact, last night they kept repeating things. We had Gunther take off the mask of Dragon Lee, and then later we had the Grandes trying to take off each other's mask. We had Seth Rollins snuck in and attacked from behind when Paul Heyman was focused on the ramp. Because someone was in the ramp. And then that's how Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso got the jump on the Vision because they were focused on Jey Uso coming out because his music was playing. So it's they literally repeat the same story beats over and over again to the point that it's multiple times per show nowadays. It's not even once a month. But we're the problem. Just shut up and watch the show. I had someone say, maybe you should just apply. Okay, I'll apply. Send me a link. I want to write TV. I would love writing WWE TV. God, I would love it. I'd probably get fired within 2 weeks. I'm not a yes man. I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, Triple H, sure, that doesn't make sense. Shut up, you nerd. All right, boys. All right, girls. See you, bye.